When he returned, they still would not pay him. T's friends, who were wealthier, often took advantage of him. They would ask him to do menial and degrading tasks, like washing their clothes or cleaning their houses. One day, T asked a friend for some money to buy food for his family. His friend laughed and said, "If you want money, you must clean my house and wash my clothes." T felt humiliated but agreed because he needed the money to feed his family. He spent the whole day cleaning and washing, and by the time he was done, he was exhausted. His friend gave him a small amount of money, much less than what he had earned, but T took it without complaining. Another time, T worked on a friend's farm from sunrise to sunset. He worked tirelessly, but when it was time to get paid, his friend said, "I don't have the money right now. Come back next week." T felt frustrated, but he had no choice. He needed the work to support his family. Despite all the unfair treatment and hard work, T never gave up. He would wake up early every day and go to work, no matter how tired he was. He knew his family depended on him, and he wanted to make sure they had enough to eat and a roof over their heads. The time for harvest arrived, and T knew it was a chance to earn some money. He decided to approach Chief Izuka, the richest man in the village, who had the biggest farm. T hoped that working for Chief Izuka would help him provide better for his family. Early one morning, T went to Chief Izuka's house and greeted him respectfully. "Good morning, Chief Izuka. I would like to help with the harvest on your farm. I have my 2 sons who can help too," T said. Chief Izuka looked at T and said, "Very well, T. My farm is large, and I need all the help I can get. You can start tomorrow." The next day, T and his 2 sons woke up before the sun rose. They made their way to Chief Izuka's farm and began working tirelessly. They worked under the hot sun, picking crops and placing them in large sacks. They worked through heavy rain, determined to finish the harvest on time. T's sons were strong and hardworking, just like their father. Together, they made a great team. Day after day, they labored on Chief Izuka's farm, their hands rough and their backs aching, but they never complained because they knew their hard work would bring food and happiness to their family. Finally, after many days of hard work, the harvest was complete. The crops were neatly packed in sacks and stored in the barn. T felt a sense of accomplishment and relief. He wiped the sweat from his brow and said to his sons, "We did it. Now, let's go and get our payment from Chief Izuka." T went to Chief Izuka and said, "Chief, we have finished the harvest. Can we please have our payment?" Chief Izuka nodded and handed T some money. "Here is 1/3 of what I owe you. Come back tomorrow for the rest," Chief Izuka said. T was surprised. Chief Izuka had never asked him to return for the rest of the payment before. But he took the money and thanked the chief. When T returned home, he gave some money to his wife and said, "Cook a delicious meal for the children tonight. They deserve it." That night, T's wife noticed he was not sleeping. She turned to him and asked, "T, why are you so moody? Did something happen at Chief Izuka's farm?" T sighed and replied, "Chief Izuka did not pay me fully. He told me to come back tomorrow for the rest. I am worried because he has never done this before." His wife hugged him and said, "Don't worry, T. You have worked hard, and everything will be fine. Let's enjoy our meal with the children tonight." T nodded and tried to put his worries aside. He knew he had to go back to Chief Izuka the next day to get the rest of his payment. Despite his concerns, he remained hopeful and continued to focus on his family, who were his greatest source of strength and happiness. The following day, T returned to Chief Izuka's house to collect the remaining payment for his hard work. As he approached the chief's grand house, T felt a mix of hope and worry. He needed the money, but he was wary of the chief's unexpected generosity from the previous day. Chief Izuka greeted T with a warm smile. T. Welcome back. Come, Sit with me. Let us share some food and drink, he said, gesturing towards a table laden with delicious food. T hesitated, but sat down as the chief's maid served him. The hospitality felt unusual, and T couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. However, he decided to listen and see what Chief Izuka had to say. After they had eaten, Chief Izuka leaned back in his chair and said, T, you have worked hard all your life. You deserve more than just a few coins for your labor. I have an opportunity for you to become rich without all this hard work. You just have to see my old friend at the edge of the forest. T was taken aback. Chief Izuka, what do you mean? How can I become rich without working hard? The chief smiled and replied, There is a way, T, a way that requires a small ritual, but no bloodshed. You are getting older, and soon you won't be able to provide for your family through physical labor. Think about it. T's heart raced. The idea of becoming rich without hard work was tempting, but he was also cautious. I don't know, Chief Izuka. This sounds risky. What kind of ritual is this? Chief Izuka reached into his robe and pulled out a large bundle of money. He handed it to T and said, Here, take this. It is 10 times the amount I owe you.
Think of it as a gift, a small taste of what you could have. Take your time to decide, there is no rush. T's eyes widened at the sight of so much money. He had never seen such a large sum in his life. He took the bundle with trembling hands and thanked the chief. Thank you, Chief Izuka. I will think about your offer and let you know my decision. As T walked home, his mind was filled with conflicting thoughts. The money in his hand felt heavy, and the offer weighed even heavier on his heart. When he arrived home, his wife saw the bundle of money, and her eyes widened in surprise. T, where did you get all this money? She asked. T sighed and explained everything that had happened. Chief Izuka gave me this money and made an offer for easy riches. He said it involves a ritual, but no bloodshed. I don't know what to do. It's so much money, and it could change our lives. His wife listened carefully, her face full of concern. T, this offer sounds too good to be true. We have always lived honestly and worked hard for what we have. Be very careful. Easy riches can bring great trouble. T nodded, knowing she was right. I will think about it carefully. We must not rush into anything that could harm our family. That night, T lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The money was hidden safely, but his thoughts were far from peaceful. He knew he had to make a decision soon, but he wanted to ensure it was the right one for his family. The promise of easy riches was tempting, but the unknown risks kept him cautious. T spent the next few days wrestling with Chief Izuka's offer. The bundle of money was a constant reminder of the wealth that could be his. He thought about his family, his children's future, and the endless struggles they had faced. The temptation of an easy life was hard to resist. One evening, as the sun set, T made up his mind. He decided to accept Chief Izuka's offer, hoping it would bring prosperity to his family. He told his wife, I have made my decision. I will go to the forest edge tomorrow and meet the old man for the ritual. His wife looked at him with worried eyes but nodded. T, please be careful. Our family's happiness means more than wealth. Promise me you will come back safe. T hugged her tightly and promised, I will come back safe. This is for our future. The next day, T made his way to the forest edge, where the old man lived. The forest was dark and thick with trees that seemed to whisper secrets. T's heart pounded as he approached the old man's hut. The old man, with a long white beard and wise eyes, greeted him. Oh, T, Chief Izuka told me you would come. Are you ready for the ritual? The old man asked. T nodded, his voice trembling slightly. Yes, I am ready. The old man led T to a clearing in the forest. In the center of the clearing was a circle made of stones, and inside the circle were strange symbols drawn on the ground. The old man began to chant, his voice low and rhythmic, filling the air with an eerie feeling. T stood in the circle, feeling a mix of fear and anticipation. The old man approached him with a small bowl of dark oil and said, "This ritual will grant you wealth without shedding blood. Rub this oil on your body, and the gods will bless you." T took the oil and, with trembling hands, began to rub it on his skin. The old man continued to chant, and the air around them seemed to shimmer. As T applied the oil, he felt a strange warmth spread through his body. The old man then placed his hands on T's head and said, "You have been chosen. The gods will grant you riches, but remember, there is always a price to pay. Be wise and use your wealth for good." With those words, the ritual was complete. The old man handed T a small pouch filled with gold coins. "This is just the beginning. More will come to you. Go now and take care of your family." T thanked the old man and left the forest, his heart filled with a mix of excitement and apprehension. When he returned home, his wife and children were waiting for him. He showed them the pouch of gold coins, and their eyes widened in amazement. "T, is this real?" his wife asked, holding one of the coins. "Yes, it is real. The gods have blessed us," T replied, hugging his family tightly. "Our lives will change for the better now." That night, they celebrated with joy and hope. T felt a sense of relief, believing that the dark decision he had made would bring happiness and prosperity to his family. Little did he know, the true cost of his choice was yet to be revealed. In the days that followed the ritual, T's life began to change dramatically. His humble home was soon filled with wealth beyond his wildest dreams. Gold coins, fine clothes, and beautiful ornaments adorned their once simple abode. T, who had always been seen as the poorest man in the village, was now one of the wealthiest. The villagers were astonished. Everywhere T went, people would stop and stare, whispering to one another about his sudden fortune. How did T become so rich overnight, they wondered. Some speculated that he had found a hidden treasure, while others believed he had been blessed by the gods. T's friends, who had once shunned him because of his poverty, now flocked to his side, eager to bask in the glow of his newfound wealth. They praised him, invited him to their homes, and treated him with the respect they had previously denied him. But T remembered how they had treated him before, and he was cautious in his interactions with them. At home, T's family was overjoyed with their new lifestyle. His children wore fine clothes and had plenty of food to eat. They could now afford things they had only dreamed of. T's wife, however, felt a mix of joy and concern. She loved seeing her family happy, but she couldn't shake the unease about the mysterious source of their wealth. One evening, as they sat together in their newly furnished living room, T's wife turned to him and said, "T, I am happy that we have all these things now, but I am worried. How did this happen so quickly? Where did all this money come from?" T took her hand and looked into her eyes. "The gods have blessed us, my love. They have seen our struggles and decided to reward us.